Now, once again, you're not going to believe that this right here, what we're about to see, happened in the land of the free, home of the brave. This is in New Brunswick. This is during a city council meeting, and this gentleman is recognized to speak during the public speaking portion of the city council meeting. Watch what the cops do.
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane.
Your witness.
So if the council adopts ordinance 2239 attempting to control decorum, the council will have adopted an unconstitutional ordinance. Your effort to ban costumes, non-medical masks, and props violates the free speech guarantee of the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The public knows why you're trying to ban the masks, costumes,
Can I clarify that statement, legal?
No, it's his time.
Well, don't take my time for it.
Okay.
Right? The public knows why you're trying to ban masks, costumes, and props, even though it's unconstitutional to do that. At previous meetings, members of the public mocked the council by showing up with masks, costumes, and props. You don't like being embarrassed, so you're trying to ban the people who humiliate you. But the best way to avoid humiliation is to stop doing stupid things like trying to clamp down on constitutionally protected symbolic speech. The more you try to suppress...
And that's typically what a government functionary does. They will try to ban, they get their feelings hurt, and then they try to institute some kind of law, regulation, or ordinance stopping a certain behavior, and it just makes matters worse. It's almost like the Streisand effect. The more they don't want somebody to do something, they do even more of it, and then they start mocking the city council, and then the entire city council becomes a laughing stock, which they're usually laughing stocks anyway, but this guy makes a good point. Wait till the law enforcement arrives.
Constitutional rights to free speech, the more vigorously the public is going to fight back. And if you get sued, you will lose. Now, you adopted an ordinance to cut public speakers back from 6 minutes to 4 minutes. That means to get our ideas across, we're going to have to speak at least 33% more efficiently. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So to illustrate why this ordinance 2239 is wrong, I'm holding up an American flag to represent the constitutional values that
I'm
we
going to
should
give
be
you
loyal
a
to.
warning, and if you continue, I will have to forfeit. You'll have to forfeit your time.
Well, I'm...
This man holding up a flag in a city council meeting might as well have held up a cross at a vampire meeting or holy water. They can't stand that he has an American flag up, and he's basically being held in contempt during this public meeting, and he's going to be asked to leave under the threat of force. Armed men are going to flank either side of him and take this guy from this room for holding up an American flag right here in America.
Your time.
It's my constitutional right to do this.
You didn't
If
vote
you
on
get
it.
sued, you will lose. My suggestion to you is that you get a second opinion from competent counsel because you are wrong. You are interfering with the content of this meeting by interfering with the right to speech of a member of the public. You're interfering with free speech, and it should stop now. I'd like to continue.
They didn't pass the law yet.
This is an arbitrary...
If he doesn't sit down,
This is an arbitrary capricious
his time is
decision, and
forfeited.
it violates the law. Your time should be forfeited. Your position should be forfeited. By your actions, you forfeited your right to preside over this meeting.
Please have him removed. That's on the table. Room. Thank you.
Shame on you.
Please have him removed, and then the enforcement class, just without any kind of investigation, just obeys the political class. And if we didn't have the law enforcement class, it wouldn't matter what laws and regulations and rules and ordinances the political class came up with, because they would have no teeth. But because we have conformist, order-following misfits in uniform, they're just going to do what the political class says. They're going to use their authority. They're going to use their threat of force. And they're going to remove people who are doing what? Committing crimes? No. Exercising their constitutionally protected right. It's pathetic. Pathetic that any cop who swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that any of them would do this. They become the very domestic enemies they swore to protect the rest of us from.
back to my seat. No, my time's forfeited.
Officer, you can have him removed.
No, my time's forfeited. I'll sit
Mr.
back down.
Bassoff, you continued after your time was forfeited, you continued after the officers told you to sit down, you continued after the council president repeatedly asked you to stop. You've now been asked to be removed from the chambers. So,
This right here is a tyrant. Nope. It's not enough that you stop talking. It's not enough that you're sitting down and you're going to be peaceful. We want you bodily removed from a public city council meeting, says the tyrant.
There's no reason to remove me from the chambers because I am not interfering with the
clearly
quorum.
chosen to
I'm
violate
ready.
the rules of the
Excuse
quorum
me,
chamber,
excuse
sir.
me. I'm ready to sit here quietly and I will not interfere with your decorum, so I have a right to be here.
Can I get a second?
second.
This right here is when every member of the audience should have stood up and said, "You're not removing him. He ain't going anywhere. Matter of fact, go back to the podium, sir, because we want to hear you finish your speech. And don't forget to hold up your American flag. We'd really appreciate that." Instead, everybody keeps their seats. They just accept the tyranny that comes upon them, and they think that they're not going to be led to the cattle cars one day as they cart us away to the FEMA camps. It's disgusting.
Favor? Alright, this council meeting has been recessed for 5 minutes. We'll be back at 7:04.
Are you ejecting him from the meeting? Officers, are you ejecting him from the meeting?
Mr. Basham was saying right there will be officers.
Yeah, but I want grants.
It's just making people more agitated, more determined to do something.
Edison Police Department. Edison Police Department.
Why are you making him leave the building? Yeah, that's a good question. Why do I have to leave the building? I'm not trespassing.
The council president's not in charge of the rest of the building.
Unless you're in the meeting.
These people here, they're here because of this
The
person.
building at this point.
The words, the notice on it, the stifling of the
The council president doesn't run the building. The council president's not in charge of the building.
Buying that. Not a single person.
You should check with the business administrator because he's in charge of
These cops should have objected when they were ordered to remove this guy from the building. They should have said, there was no crime that was committed. Nobody was harmed. Nobody was threatened. No property was damaged. They didn't violate anybody's right. This guy didn't violate anybody's rights. And by the way, we have an oath that we have to keep. And this guy has the right to freedom of speech. You recognized his right to speak freely, but then he did something that you disagreed with. Well, that's all the more reason why this should be protected by the First Amendment right to freedom of speech. We're not doing anything, but the cops can't do that. They won't do that because they're just order following conformists. They're not moralists by any stretch of the imagination.
facilities.
Which is another insult.
Let it go.
And we ain't even seen it. Here's the police chief. Watch the police chief. Pathetic piece of garbage.
Their time, let them rebut.
Chief,
Let them
Chief,
rebut and
Chief.
whatever they want to wear.
Chief, a resident wants to speak to you.
Move on. It is a waste of taxpayer time. It is a waste of your time. Around and around and
You have to follow constitutional rules. I can't be, I don't have the quorum. Right, but I'm not violating. But I'm not
But
violating.
it's very difficult to hear what they're saying, but I think he said something about we have to maintain decorum. What's the supreme law of the land? Is it city council meeting decorum, or is it the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, primarily the First Amendment? Which one is it, Chief?
around and around and around, bringing it to people out, giving them warnings, then pulling them out, then making a big scene.
You have to, but you have to even give a warning. Giving you a warning. He did. Right, and I sat down. Listen, he gave a warning and I sat down. No, he wanted you removed.
There should have been no warning, and there should have been no sitting down. It's like, no, I'm going to continue speaking under the First Amendment, supreme law of the land. It's over you. It's supposed to govern everything that you're doing, law enforcement class. What are you doing?
We're in a tough position. Well, he wanted that, but he didn't have the right to want that. He's in the bounds of his authority, and he's putting you in authority. He's putting all of us. Yeah. You know how I feel about it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to. No, I just. Why don't we bring her out? All right, bring her out.
Council meeting?
Yeah. Just come and get my stuff.
going to take him in there. He's going to get his stuff.
America the Beautiful, we still have the right to speak, and no one should silence us or tell us how long we can talk. And I know one thing. I respect this flag. Many people died for this flag, for this country, and I got to say one more thing.
I will have to give you a
Last
warning.
election, you saw what
Now
happened.
they're warning this guy about his flag. What the heck is it with these city council members?
Sir.
Don't think you can't all be replaced,
Sir.
because when the next election comes,
You put it away.
you'll be out. Thank you.
All right, that's New Brunswick. That's the Edison Police Department and the Edison Police Chief. Leave your thoughts about this, man. What is this, North Korea? Is it communist China? Where are we? Is this America? This ain't the land of the free, home of the brave, like we've said so many times. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. These cops really, really take the cake. What a bunch of cowards. Leave your thoughts. I will see you in the next video.